Peg, did you tell all the neighbors to come?
I told all our friends.
And?
They're here.
Let's rock.
Thanks, Dad.
Can I get a whoopin'?
Whoa,
No Man presents, live from the nudie bar, the Married with Children podcast. And here are your hosts, Jerry, Justin, and Al.
Man, here we are back in the jiggly room. Now I'm comfortable. Now this is the atmosphere I've been waiting for. Here we are, guys. Season 2, Episode 7, For Whom the Bell Tolls? For Whom the Bell Tolls? This episode aired October 25th, 1987. And I am joined by the guy who sleeps with a street light in his eye, Jerry. What's up, Jerry?
I had to pay $50 for it. I didn't even ask for the street light, and I got to pay $50 for it. That doesn't even make sense. It's robbery, I tell you.
Scream it out the window. Scream it at the top of the highest hill. I'm sure it'll make a difference. And I am also joined by the guy who makes calls to Canada, or some people say Canada, Justin. What's up, Justin?
Well, I have to contact my bank, and it's located in Canada, so, sorry about all those long-distance calls.
Wow, how does that relate to anything we've been doing here?
Oh.
Oh, right. Duh. God, that was only a few episodes ago.
Uh-huh. I can afford to pay the bill, is what I'm saying.
You just can't afford to pay $80. Like, how long does it take you to earn $80?
Depends what Jerry's up to that day.
Ah.
Wait a second. Whoa. Why does that sound like you're pimping me out?
Because I am.
Oh! Hey, Jerry, I need you to work for me tonight. I'm not doing it anymore. I told you. Oh, my God.
That's it. I am putting a thing out in the newspaper, and someone will hire me. I might not be able to read, but someone will hire me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll put out the same ad that Bud put out for Kelly. What was it?
That I couldn't read.
Yeah. You ever see the movie Less Than Zero? Robert Downey Jr., Andrew McCarthy, and what's the chick's name? Jamie Gertz, where this drug dealer, Robert Downey Jr., owed him money, so he would pimp him to gay guys in hotel rooms till he paid him back all the money. Dude, it was so... Oh, you gotta see. It's on Netflix. Less Than Zero. You have to watch this movie, dude. It is so crazy. And I'm reading the novel right now. I'm more than halfway done, and it's like way more in depth and stuff. But you gotta watch the movie. It's hilarious. And it just reminded me of this whole thing. But, yes, guys. For Whom the Bell Tolls...
You're making too many calls, Peg. Now look at this bill. Milwaukee. I'll bet this whole thing comes to $253. Family meeting. I thought we agreed to cut down our calls.
I only made necessary calls this month, Dad. Me too.
Me too.
Well, then who made these toll calls at $2 a pop? 10 times in a row here. Who called 555 stud? Who called dial a prayer?
I did, Dad. But don't pay. Kelly's still here.
Let's see what else we have here. Sports hotline. Those are okay. Wait a second. Vancouver, $80. Kelly.
Oh, sure. All eyes turn to me. Well, let me ask you this. If I did know somebody in Vancouver, don't you think I'd be living with them and not here?
True enough. Bud?
America first, Dad.
How about it, Peg? Your mother gotten so fat she spread across the border?
Al, I did not call Vancouver. And Mom is down to nearly 200.
So nobody called Vancouver. Okay, it's a mistake. I'm not paying for mistakes. I've been doing that since the day I got married.
Al gets heated over a large phone bill and refuses to pay it, which results in the disconnection of the Bundy phone line, making him the target of hostility from Peggy, the kids, and the Rhodes, who now take the Bundy's phone calls on their phone, especially ones from Peg's mother. To make matters worse, there's a street light that is also bothering Al, which is keeping him awake every night. What did you got? I'm going to go ahead and just say it. This is, in my opinion, it almost seems like this is a quintessential low-key Married with Children episode where it's just a sitcom. And it's just, I don't want to say filler, because that's demeaning. And I'm not saying it's not good. But it definitely just feels like this is nothing to be memorable. Although, I mean, it's hard to forget the street light and Al. Like, if you talk to somebody in 5 years, they'll remember the episode where Al had the street light in his eye and stuff like that. And you might not remember that he didn't pay his phone bill and things like that. Or, so it just seems like this is low key. Would you guys agree with that?
I think that it's... when you talk about like kind of basic in a way, like storyline wise, I think it does feel like, situational comedy, right? Like it's just a situation that he's in and it's funny.
Right.
There's nothing that's like, no like giant event or anything. So I'm with you on that, but I do think this episode is very funny.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a pretty this is the basic setup for a normal Married with Children episode. Something bad happens to Al. Al stands up for himself. More bad things continue to happen to Al.
Yeah. Well, this, how we talked about Al standing up for himself, and it's so far it's been sort of normally stupid, like meeting his boss or whatever. On this one, you kind of get behind him. I mean, it's a weird premise. Like, he just has a phone call. He just has a phone bill, like a bill on his phone for one call amongst many, which he just feels is, he just asks around, nobody made the call, so he's just like, well, then I'm not paying. He doesn't think anyone's lying. He doesn't think anyone's hiding anything from him. He just genuinely trusts the answers from this whack job family. It's like an odd premise. I mean, wouldn't you think somebody's lying here?
Yeah. And I was actually going to ask. I was going to ask it later on, but who do you think made the call?
Kelly.
See, I actually think it is Kelly, and I have something to support it.
Uh-oh.
When Al is going through the list of phone calls, there is one for 555 stud. Now, both Kelly and Peggy put up their arms, but you'll notice as soon as Kelly sees that her mom raised her arm, she puts her down and then goes, "Mom!" And that Kelly did it, and Kelly's gonna hide now.
I just think there's no other reason anyone else would have done it. Like, why would Peg call Canada? Why? And Bud, I mean, if it was a sex hotline, sure, but I think they covered that when they said 555 stud or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
And Kelly called Australia once. So
yeah, right.
That's in the realm of possibility for her.
Yep. For some reason I thought it was gonna be like Steve or Marcy, somehow. But
are you guys disappointed that you never find out who did it?
You know what? When we were just when you was describing the episode, I started thinking about it, and I was like, did we ever find... I couldn't even remember if we found out, but if you guys confirmed that we didn't, then yes, I am disappointed.
I am too, because I think that's what would have made this episode better, is at the end, we find out who did it, why they did it, and there would be a really good joke in there.
What if it actually wasn't anybody? What if it was a legit mistake?
I guess that's what it. I guess we're made to believe. I don't know. Right? I mean, there's no punchline here. He just asks. They all deny, and okay, I'm not paying. And the only punchline you get out of it is the messages from Peg's mom, the call from Peg's mom about Raisin Bread, and then the message about her mom staying, which, tell me that was not, where you guys were not thrown for a loop. When Steve said, did you not, you know how that episode, Peggy Sue Got Work? Remember how both Peg and Al paid the kids to say that they prefer Peg to be at home and not working anymore?
Yeah, I 100% thought that Peggy had like gotten Steve to do this by going, hey.
Yeah, wasn't it a weird reaction? Because I thought that too.
Right.
Yeah, and then that it wasn't. And I was like, oh, well, maybe Peggy wasn't smart enough to do that. And then I was like, what if Steve did this on his own? Because he's smart enough to pull something like this off.
Right.
So we wouldn't be getting phone calls at 2 a.m. in the morning.
And it turns out nobody's really that smart. She's actually there.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually in the... And I'm like, well, okay. Like, it's just so weird that way. This episode is so weird that way. But let's start from the beginning. So the kids actually told Peg's mother they do not love her. Like, you know, most kids don't want to talk to their grandmother. They go, oh, shucks, I don't want to sit on grandma's lap or whatever the case. These kids downright just said, no, grandma, we don't love you. And Peg says, well, if you gave them money, maybe they'd love you. That's just amazing. So now the city put in a new street/crime light in the Bundy's neighborhood, and it's right in front of the Bundy's house, which is a good thing, I guess, if it's a crime light, but it shines right in Al's window, and it lands right on his pillow when he goes to sleep at night.
Like, right where his eyes would be. My only question is, like, why didn't you just put blinds up or something?
Yeah,
dude, that's what I wrote down.
I was like, just put up a bed sheet. Like, come on, what are you doing?
He wants this thing moved or whatever. And it's like, dude, buy a curtain or buy a blind.
I think it's because first he talks about how he had to pay $50 for it because maybe they taxed everybody or they taxed whoever was right in front. I'm not exactly sure how they did that $50 tax, but maybe it's because of that now it's like a principle of the matter thing. Because Al is very much I stand on principle against this. I mean,
I'm not gonna pay to have my my sleep messed up.
Yeah,
right.
I already got to sleep next to Peggy, and now you got to tell me there's gonna be a light in front of my face the entire time. Come on.
And oh boy, does that pay off in the end of the episode? But
yeah.
Hey, do any of you guys know Ig Pay Latin Attenlay?
Yeah, Pigline. I remember I could do it when I was younger, but now I have to like really think about it if I'm gonna say something.
Used to be able to just rip through it.
Not rip through it, but I was better at it. I didn't have to think quite as much. I knew I would stick with words that I had pre-thought of, and so that I could do it.
So what do you do? Just take the first letter off of the word and put it at the end,
and then add AY.
Yeah. For example,
Ixnay on the stupid say.
So next on the stupid.
Wait,
Ixnay? Oh, Nix. Wait.
Yeah. Nix
so what does Nix mean?
Stop the stupid. Nix means to stop. Nix it.
Nix A. Oh, Nix. Oh yeah, right. Nix. Okay. I thought it was the basketball team. Which is also stupid. No, just kidding.
Oh, man.
I don't want to get into that. God forbid we offend another person.
Now someone's going to complain on our Facebook. Good job, Alex.
You're not supposed to talk about your personal feelings on sports.
Go Pens.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a Bears fan, too. For all you Packer guys.
Has it ever been said before that where Peg Moms lives, or is this the first time we find out she lives in Milwaukee?
I believe it's always been just Wanker County. Like, isn't that what they always say about that?
I remember hearing the county, but I never knew exactly where she lives. And according to this episode, she lives in Milwaukee.
Should I get into the very many visitors of Milwaukee while we're here?
Oh, damn it. No. I walked into that
It's
one.
actually pronounced Milwaukee, which is Elgament for the good land.
Hey, Justin, his phone bill was $253. How much is that in today's money?
I'm going to say $730.
I'm going $615.
It is $556.34.
Bam! Suck it, Alex.
But could you imagine that? Okay, so check it out. Like, obviously, one of the fun things about doing these shows is that, well, they're really old now, right? Like what, like 30 years or something?
Exactly 30.
Okay, so 30 years ago, I wasn't alive. You know, cell phones weren't a thing. So first of all, this episode could never even happen today. But could you imagine having a $556 phone bill?
Like, people paid. Like, isn't that wild? People paid for the actual call they made. Like, like I remember, it's still weird to me when I submit something somewhere and they say standard text messages something will apply.
Yeah, and I'm like, everybody doesn't have free text messages? Like,
Right,
unlimited?
yeah. Like, what are you, a loser? Like, I don't remember anybody paying for their exact text message amount. Like, who pays for, I get 50 free text messages a month? Like, what does that even mean?
I remember it from, like, back in the day, because I also remember being a kid and, like, because my parents were divorced and they didn't live in the same state, all of, like, we had to make long distance calls, and you only have 10 minutes to make this call because of how expensive it was. Mm-hmm. And then I remember, like, when I first got, like, my first cell phone, you only have 50 texts per month.
Wow.
Yeah, that was, I do remember when they first came out, because I had a cell phone when I was super young, and I do remember it was like minutes and stuff like that. But
I remember minutes, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny though to think, I've never had to pay extra for calling like another state.
I did. I remember my mom, like, I used to have a cousin I was really close to.
I mean now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no.
Like, that doesn't exist there.
Well, it only exists if you're, like, because now you only get extra charges if you're, like, roaming. That's it.
Yeah, I remember in the 90s, I was real close with a cousin, and I used to call him, and I swear to God, he was 30 minutes away from our house. And my mom heard me talking to him, and she goes, "Hang up the phone, that's a toll call." And I was like, wow, what?
A toll call?
My parents paid extra just so I could talk to somebody 30 minutes away from them.
We've come a long way.
Oh. And just think what that means. When we were paying for all these things in the beginning, like after you pass 100 minutes or whatever, just think, now that we are at this point where everything's just unlimited, we know that these assholes were never, ever paying anything extra on their end. Like the company themselves, like Verizon or whatever, they never had to pay any extra for us to make these calls. They just charged us extra.
Yeah. Oh, and who remembers, like, when you actually had, like, AOL and you were getting, like, 200 free minutes in your internet? You could either do, like, a monthly internet, or you could do it based on minutes, and you would have so many minutes on the internet at a time. That was, like, early AOL.
Remember those, like, free...
Those discs?
Hours or something, yeah.
Yeah, they were, like, not floppy disks, because those are actually bendable, but they were, like, those
CDs.
hard...
Oh yeah, it was hours, not minutes. I shouldn't have said minutes. I was still thinking cell phones. But yeah, like 200 free hours for AOL 2.0.
Yeah.
I still have mine. I got one of those in the mail. It's one of those hard discs that you slid in your computer and it downloads something. And I still have it. And sometimes I make a joke on Facebook and I'll just randomly post, "All right, 200 free minutes. Now I'm set," or whatever, like I'm sure I say something better, but I'm just on the spot right now. But I know, I'm sure I don't. It's probably just as lame. But and I post a picture of myself holding that thing in the mail where they sent me that. It's so funny. It's like 20
I
years
used to
old
have
now.
stacks of them as a kid.
Yeah, I actually still remember my first AOL screen name just because my dad made it, and he picked a movie I didn't even like. My first AOL screen name was Top Gun 1014, and I don't like the movie Top Gun. And I was like, why did you name me I like Jaws. Why didn't you name me Jaws 1014?
You know what's weird? My first AOL name was Al Bundy 33.
What? Was it really?
Yeah, I think
Mine was ?626 spelled out. Question mark spelled out.
Oh, question mark 66.
626.
Question mark 626. What was 626 your area code?
No.
What does
I just picked
626 mean?
626. I think it might have picked it randomly or something. Somebody had question mark.
That is weird. That like.
Speaking of questions, why would Peg believe she almost treats Al legitimately when he says, "Give me the phone. I want to say something to your mom." And she goes, "Mom, Al has something he wants to say to you." Like, does she think anything constructive would come out of Al's mouth? Like why would you ever take that seriously to hand him the phone? And of course, he just hangs up on the mom.
Yeah, plus he literally just got done calling her a pig. Oh, pig lad, must be your mom, oink.
Yeah, tell her oink. So, Al runs through the phone bill. You got calls to 555 stud, dial a prayer.
Hey, don't pay that. Kelly's still here.
Yeah, it didn't work, guys. So, yeah, sports hotline, which Al's totally okay with because he wants to know how much what the line is on the next Bears game.
Yeah,
and you got.
I thought that was a good callback also to the episode with the Bills, and he's like completely fine with the price of his tackle box he got, but nothing else. I was just like, I thought that was like a fun callback to that, and I was like, I hope they continue to make that joke throughout the rest of the series.
How amazing of a callback. Would you have not gotten the chills if one of the bills on the phone bill was Dr. Mustang? Like, you'd be like, oh my God. Like, these guys are really, yeah, they are really into this. That would be so funny if they went all the way back to, have you driven a Ford lately? So if we find out in this episode that Peg's mom weighs nearly 200 pounds, which is insanely disappointing because I was hoping 400 to 500. I mean, she has 2 kegs under her arm, falls through a fence.
Well, here's the thing. She says almost down to 200.
Yeah, but you have to, that means between 2 and 3, so 3 max.
Yeah. So I'm guessing like maybe 250 or something.
Well, nearly, I was thinking 235. If she's nearly 200.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
That makes sense.
But it's still insanely disappointing. I mean, God, they're not as ridiculous as I'd like them to be. And I know you guys like it more when they're more grounded, so you probably appreciate that, right?
Yeah, I was actually going to say they probably did it just for the fact that if they have to show her on screen, even if it's under a cover, it needs to be more realistic. Like, they need to be able to actually show it. So I was completely fine with it. And I was like, oh, well, look at that. Maybe she's actually losing weight and trying to do something with her life.
Yeah, maybe she walked up a flight of stairs and lost 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, how funny would it have been, though, if that under the covers was twice as big, you know? That just would have been great. I mean, it wouldn't be as crazy as the woman who deboned a chicken and bit Marcy's finger. I mean, that... just a fat mom is not that crazy to me, you know? I just think they could have went for that one, but... Okay.
So you wanted What's Eating Gilbert Grape kind of mom, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with that, right?
I mean, sure.
I mean, Justin, you're into the grounded stuff, and you don't like when they go too far. Well, I think you're going to evolve. I really do, dude. Like, I think by season 5, you're going to be, like, ripping and roaring through this and loving it. and you're going to go, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking back then. It's all cool, man. I think you're going to finally get there, but I know you still got that season 1 mentality, and as we go, you're gonna let go, man. It's like hanging on, you're falling off a building and you're hanging onto a ledge and each finger just slowly pops off, dude. And you're just gonna be like, dude, I'm just gonna let go, man.
It's possible. The episode aired October 25th, but it's not a Halloween episode. I was bummed.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Can you imagine if Married with Children did... that's how I actually met Jerry in a way. But can you imagine if Married with Children did Halloween episodes the way Roseanne does, because Roseanne is so known for their Halloween. Yeah. There's even a DVD of just their Halloween episodes.
Yeah.
Yup.
There is.
I haven't. And I have their whole season box set, Roseanne, but I also bought the Halloween because I'm very into that, where I like to compartmentalize stuff like that.
I'm with you on that. Like, I seen a TV horror or Treehouse of Horror disc that I was gonna get one day, but I was like, I almost wish it had all of them because it only had like the first like 10 or something.
Dude, there's nothing better on earth than The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, and I literally went through every season of DVDs and ripped the entire episode into a file, and I put them on a portable C drive, and I could plug the USB port into my Blu-ray player, and it plays it on my 75-inch TV. So
nice.
I literally got them all in one folder, all in order, and I just ripped through every single one of them. On every October, I watch every Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. It's amazing. And here's what's funny. Before I did, obviously this Married with Children podcast started the first Friday of this year, 2017, for all of you listening in 2035. Right before we started this in January, I ripped every single Married with Children Christmas episode, put it on that same thing, and went through all those for Christmas. So that was a great time too. So I'm very into sectionalizing stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, it's just awesome. So we have to talk about sex points here. Peg asks for sex, and Al says, oh, great, the one thing I would pay for, because she said it's free, amongst all his bills, like the phone bill and the streetlight bill, and the one thing he would pay for, sex, she wants to give him for free, and he's not interested. Point goes to Al. So make sure we write that in our notes that we're going to go to at the end of the season.
So, are you just not going to bring up that what she called Mr. Van Winkle?
Oh yeah, right. Now, what does that mean? Isn't Van Winkle the guy who slept for like 30 years or something?
I thought it was Vanilla Ice, isn't it?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Isn't his name like Perry Van Winkle or something?
I don't think that's who she was. Yeah, it's Rob. I don't think that's who she was referred to. I thought Van Winkle was like an old game show host or something.
No, I think the joke is that I heard like somebody say sleep like Van Winkle. In the story, Rip Van Winkle fell asleep and woke up 20 years later. So I think she's saying Al's pecker has virtually been asleep
for 20 years.
Right.
Ooh.
So that's the joke.
That's actually pretty funny. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, any joke that you have to look up is usually pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that dude, what's his name? Dennis Miller, who made jokes that are over everyone's head.
Oh, yeah, for the NFL.
Yeah, Monday Night Football. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He would, quote, Andrea Van Pleeth, and people would be like, what? It was just weird stuff, man.
As we go into the scene where, the light hits his face, and he ends up, switching and putting his feet on the pillow and laying down the other way, was anyone else kind of upset that when Peg kisses his foot, that there wasn't, a bigger reaction to it? His feet are the reason he sleeps next to the window so the air can get to it.
No, to keep mosquitoes away.
Yeah, to keep mosquitoes away. But literally, she kisses it and it's just and that's it.
She kisses more of his ankle, so maybe it wasn't as bad.
Oh, okay.
Al Bundy's feet have become something of folklore or legend or stuff like that.
I hear people travel for thousands upon thousands of miles and maybe even light years for him.
Yeah, would you kiss Al Bundy's feet if you met him in real life? If he actually had his foot there, would you say, okay, I'll just do it so I could say I did it in life?
Is it lucky or something?
I don't know. Is it like a rabbit's foot?
Like that stone in Ireland?
I don't know, but I do know that...
you don't know? Oh, you'd kiss Steve's feet, though.
Oh, dude, Steve, massage, kiss.
You'd kiss the ground he walks on. Rabbit's feet are not so lucky. I mean, the rabbit's not so lucky, right? I mean, you're walking around with his foot on your keychain, so how lucky could it be?
I was reading, oddly enough, about rabbit's feet the other day, and apparently, like, the most hardcore of rabbit's feet must be done on a full moon on like a Friday at midnight in a cemetery. The rabbit has to be found in the cemetery, and the foot must be severed while it's still alive.
What?
There's all this like mythology on rabbit's feet out there.
You know, my sister had a keychain of a rabbit's foot, and it was like purple.
They dye them.
Are we to believe, is this like real? Like, are they always actual feet of rabbit?
They used to be. I don't know about now. Like, it used to be really popular in the 90s, but with like PETA and stuff, like, I don't think that shit flies anymore.
Really?
I always thought they were fake even in the 90s.
No, dude. If you take that clip off of the top, like, you can straight see bone.
Oh, yeah?
What?
Wow, I gotta do that. Kelly blows the whistle on Bud eavesdropping on her phone calls. And it's cool because that scene, although it was just a flash in your eyes, actually becomes Kelly's little, you know how in the beginning of every episode, when they're going through all the names and they're showing clips of each person? The clip they show of her, I take it, it's going to be next season. It might even be this one, but I always forward it, so I wouldn't know. But it's her blowing that whistle. They pulled it from this episode.
I don't think there is clips yet.
Not yet? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
probably next
hopefully next season we'll be able to watch Kelly blow things.
Wow. Did we say that she could next season, or is it the 4th season?
I thought you said season 3.
Oh, good.
Premature, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Even one season premature is a little too much.
Oh.
This is great. I'm a victim. That's what I am. City charges me $50 to shine a light in my face. Nothing I can do about it. Phone company charges me $80 for a phone call I never made. Nothing I can do about it. Well, from now on, Al Bundy is going to do something about it. Tomorrow, I'm going to get that Vancouver phone call taken off my bill, and I'm going to go down and have the city move that stupid light. From now on, Al Bundy is going to live with a little bit of dignity.
So Al fights the phone company, and Al loses. You know, he's not going to pay the $80 bill, so they say, okay. And they treat him like you expect. They say, well, if you don't pay it, somebody else will. Good night, bam, clip, and they no longer have a phone. So the Bundy household is phoneless. And yes, guys, just a reminder, this show is 30 years old, like we talked about, and there are no personal phones, no cell phones, or nothing of the sort. They actually allude to pay phones because Al has this whole thing with change and stuff, and a change dispenser. So, do you guys remember using pay phones?
I used a payphone last year.
Wow, how's that?
It reminded me of how it used to be. Yeah, I used them in the 90s and maybe the early 2000s. So, yeah.
I can honestly say I never actually ever used a payphone. I just never ended up in a situation where I needed to use a payphone. I remember checking them for change.
Yeah, I remember pushing like the buttons. Like I always remember the buttons always felt really cool. Like they felt like solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I always used to call 1-800-COLLECT and have my mom pick me up from school. Like I don't know why this was like, I don't know why I had to tell her I'm ready. Because it obviously I get out the same day or minute every day. But I used to have to call her, collect, and then it would say, hello, you have a collect call from caller, please state your name. And I'd go, Mom, pick me up. Would you accept charges? She goes, no. And she hangs up.
Because you can leave that brief message. Yeah, I do remember people exploiting that. I do, now that you said it. Yeah, people used to do that all the time. Like if it was just a quick thing, like...
That was the best. That's so nostalgic for the 90s.
Yeah. I love it.
Kelly has a breakdown reaction to having no phone. And could you imagine? I mean, you can't even look down on her because this is how everybody would react if you took away their cell phone.
Yeah, and even back then, though, like, even like when I was a kid, like when I was a young kid, you know, like 6th grade or something, like cell phones weren't a thing yet. Like they were there, but they weren't like everybody didn't have them. Like social media didn't exist and stuff. And I remember like even having a phone in your room was like such an important thing at that age, you know, like 12, 13.
Jerry, did you have your own personal phone?
No, because our household did have 2 phone lines for my dad's house, but that's because one was for the internet and one was for phone calls.
Oh, so you didn't have to go through being online and somebody making a call or getting a call incoming to your house and
that was the
interrupting.
worst.
Oh, that's when we got those discs for 100 free hours of America Online. And it just so if anybody is a little saddened, if they're thinking, man, that's a shame that Married with Children was 30 years ago. Now we'll never get a computer episode. No, guys, you do, and you will not forget how funny it is.
Yeah, because the show does go into the 90s, so...
Yeah. I don't know what year it happened, but they get a computer, and it's so funny.
I was on the telephone taking messages for your family. Peggy, your mother called. Peggy, your mother called. Peggy, your mother called. And Peggy, Dial a Stud called. They wanted to know if you were okay and to tell you Juan is back. Anything for me? No. Oh.
Dial a Stud called Peg. Actually called Steve. Like, I don't even understand that. So, Peg calls Dial a Stud, her phone gets disconnected, and Dial a Stud somehow knows to call Steve about this?
Alex, you got to understand, the show is now getting a bit more goofy. So you have to... Sorry, I actually want to get into this. Because this episode, to me, is an episode where we actually, like, everything that you told me on the previous shows that you told me and Justin is 100% true here. You have, and it blends in very well because you go from Al's being like, have you noticed every time Al says he's a hero, the family suffers? Like, he's the only one who thinks he's a hero. And he tells Peggy to get invite all their friends and neighbors over, and no one shows up. But
well, they're here.
Yeah, when Kelly starts actually overreacting to not having a phone.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Kelly, it's for you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello? Hello? Gee, I love doing that.
Now, see, Bud's handling this the best way. Good boy, Bud.
Between that and Al's face throughout this entire episode, that's where I was like, damn it, Alex was right. This is getting really goofy, and I like it. It's really funny. And I was like, all right, I'm just gonna have to accept it. And her second breakdown later in the episode is actually funnier than the first one. But yeah, like having them call Steve, like how would they have Steve's number? How did that doesn't make sense. But I was so just accepting at that point because I could hear you in the back of my head. Just accept it, Jerry. It's getting goofy around here.
They're going there, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
If you have reservations, you're the one who's going to suffer. You're going to be the one left behind.
Yeah. And so, you know how I said every time Al says he's the hero, his family suffers?
Yeah.
Apparently, Steve realizes this too because he says a hilarious line and he goes, Al, aren't you punishing your family enough by living with them? And I gotta say, Marcy is actually really cool in this episode. Like, for some reason, there was no inkling of getting annoyed by her at all. Her one real scene, she's really friendly, nice looking. I would even dare say she looks pretty.
Yeah. Not too bad.
Not annoying. She's just there in a good way. I always wonder about stuff like that. When there's episodes where people, like we talked about, Buck wasn't even in the last episodes. The kids were written in second thought. Well, we're going to make it a two-parter where Marcy loses her ring down Zorro's pants. So we got to, we got to fill out a couple spots here. So let's bring the kids back into the episodes and stuff. So I always wonder, what do the actors think when they're just in like one scene of an episode? Like, are they like, well, that's all I'm doing this one? You know?
That's a really good point. I've never even thought about that.
Yeah, like the whole show goes by and they're in one damn scene.
I mean, I guess they're glad because they're there. Like, I don't know how their pay works. How, like, if they get paid per episode or they get paid per scene or if it's per diem. Now that you bring that up, I really want to know. I'm going to jump on Twitter and ask someone.
Do they still, I believe they still get those, like, checks in the mail, right? For, like, reruns and stuff?
No, that had to be worked in ahead of time.
Really?
If that stuff wasn't going on back then. Oh, by the way, Married with Children has never not been on the air. Not a single year on Earth. It's on television every year since its conception. So, no, but these people are not getting rich off of it because back then they didn't get money for the DVD sales because those didn't exist. People didn't buy VHS tapes of seasons of shows back then. So they didn't get that either because it was never written into the contract. You know, if they go to you and if they go up to these guys and go, hey, Mill Creek, how come you're not paying me? I'm the one who acted on all those. They're like, well, I don't owe you anything. It doesn't say anything about that here. You know, whoever they bought the distribution rights from. So, yeah, no.
Yeah, but see, I heard somebody, like I heard Adam Green one time talk that he got like a couple cents in a check one time, and it was for another Adam Green who had worked on The Cosby Show.
If the show's picked up for syndication, they might change it, but Alex
that's what I was
is right and kind of wrong. He's kind of both. Well, more like he just left something out. He's right that if it wasn't in the original contract, no, they're not getting it. But later on in the show, in the seasons, they could have upped their contracts to get residual checks. What is that called when they get those checks? Like, there's a name for it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I can't think of the name. It's like a royalty check.
Yes, royalties.
Yeah, royalties.
There you go. Like, but that was more popular. From what I've heard, it's more popular with movies. Getting royalty checks from the movie sales than it did for TV shows.
Well, that's something we'd have to bring up if we ever got a chance to talk to anybody.
Yeah, I definitely would like to know. I'm sure they're all getting hosed. That's how it always is, you know. It's never a Cinderella story half the time. I mean, obviously any modern show is, but not them, no.
Alex, you're a big fan of Married with Children, and you have been for your whole life. And you go to a lot of conventions. Have you ever met anyone from Married with Children?
Yeah, I met 3 people so far. I met Bud Bundy, Marcy Rhodes, and Jefferson Darcy.
Oh, but you never met Steve?
No, he's never been to one.
I'm gonna hunt him down.
Yes, Jerry, I'd give him $35 and have him sign an autograph for you, and I'd mail it to you.
Yeah, I'd frame that sucker.
So...
The way you said that sounded creepy, man.
I'll frame that sucker. I would too, actually.
I would too, actually. But I'm just saying.
So, Peg's mother, you know, and like we just said, 555 Stud's calling Steve to leave messages. Everybody's calling Steve to leave messages, namely Peg's mother, who Peg talks to every day now, seemingly. And she asked for the recipe for raisin bread. And Jerry, what's the recipe for raisin bread according to Peg Bundy?
Hey, Bundy! Telephone!
It's 2 o'clock in the morning. What do they want?
It's Peggy's mother!
Oh, it's for you.
Oh. Hi, Mom! What do you want?
Your recipe for raisin bread!
Tell her to get a fresh loaf of bread, a box of raisins, and a hammer.
Bread, raisin, and a hammer?
Oh, it does make sense. Okay. See, here I am thinking they're just going wacky with the humor, but yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
Al talks about how no one stands up for anything in America anymore. which is funny because now everyone stands up for everything. They're just like, that raisin bread has rights. How dare you hit it with a hammer? I am here. If you won't speak for the raisin bread, who will, Alex? Who will?
Yeah, everybody is offended about everything now.
Yeah. So, and he says America's catchphrases used to be "Don't tread on me," and all this stuff, and now it's "Hi, I'm America. I'm sorry." I just don't. I get the throw the phones in the water joke. And then the women would go chase the phones and they would drown, and so we wouldn't have to burn them at the stake.
Haha. Well, that's Salem witches. By the way, the Salem witches were never burned at the stake. By the way, they were all hanged. A lot of people misperceive the Salem witch trials and all that. They were never in Boston burned at the stake.
No, I saw in a movie called Teaching Mrs. Tingle, and it has teaching in the title, so obviously it's there to educate me. And they clearly stated that they were burned.
Yeah, well, guess what? It was not accurate. And Teacher Miss Tingle was cited as the one inaccurate thing he put out, that they were burned, and none of them were burned. If you research it, they were all hanged.
Oh, by the way, Alex, so
Yes.
your coincidences have now struck over to Married with Children.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
You know how they called Butthead? He said, why is he called, this, and you're called a butthead? And Al goes, well, if being a butthead means being a patriot, I guess I'm a butthead. What voicemail did you leave me? What was it, yesterday?
Wow.
Where you did the voices of Beavis and Butthead on my voicemail.
Yeah, I could do a perfect Butthead and Beavis for some reason. I don't know how.
I will swear right now, and I'm not even a big Beavis and Butthead fan, but I thought you had played a clip or you were watching it on your TV or something. It was so good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've been doing it since like 94, so yeah, it's a pretty loser thing, but... So I just want to drop in real quick that when I hooked up with my wife and she started sleeping over the house and kind of living with me and stuff, I deliberately picked if you're looking at it from the camera view that you always look at the Bundy's bed, I always picked the right side of the bed just because of Al Bundy. Like, I said, well, I'm older now, I'm like an adult, and my only gateway to that was, for some reason, Married with Children. Like, to me, that was my adult show, because now I'm like, I used to be Bud, now I'm Al. So I said, I want to sleep on the same side of the bed that Al sleeps on. So I literally have been, and my wife absolutely hates it. I think she just doesn't, it's weird. I think if I didn't even say anything, she wouldn't say anything. If I didn't insist on that side of the bed, she wouldn't want it. You know, sort of like when a kid's playing with a toy, and that's...
No, it's not true.
God.
Oh,
Yes.
busted.
Yes.
I do not like it. I have to take a sleeping pill to go to bed because I don't feel comfortable on that side.
Okay, thank you. Who said you're allowed in the jiggly room?
Hey, Reese came into the jiggly room that one time.
Thank you for
Okay?
that. Yeah.
I don't need to get up.
This is no, ma'am. Thank you.
I still love you, but I still miss my side of the bed.
Thank you. You're my pip.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
We need to tighten up that security. Or not.
I don't understand. I can't say one thing about my wife without her standing next to the exit door.
Yo, do you think she paid security? Security, come here. Did she pay you? That's an awfully nicely looking watch for security, man.
Hey, Alex, didn't you have a nice watch?
Yeah.
He did.
Okay. So the only worst thing you could be called in life besides a shoe salesman, guys, is a quitter. And Al Bundy is not a quitter, although we've seen him quit on a couple things already, such as meeting his boss. I don't know. I'm sure more things. I can't remember.
Oh, Steve, we have a family thing going on here. What do you want?
I'm delivering another phone message for you.
Oh, well, come on in.
I also have a message of my own, Al. This is the last message the Rhodes are going to be taking for the Bundys.
Fine. That's the last thing we'll ever do for you, too.
You don't do anything for us now, Al.
So you've already got a taste of our medicine. What's the message?
Please, God, let it be for me.
It's for Peggy.
You lie! It's for me!
She's been under a lot of stress lately.
Oh, my God. Who put these bugs on my arms?
Who is it, Steve?
It's your mother. She said to tell you she's worried about you. She doesn't like not being able to talk to you every day. So she's coming to stay until you get your phone put back in.
How much time do we have?
She was packing her bags.
Great. We can still stop her. See, she can never get through her front door on the first try. Hey, quick, call her. Use Steve's phone.
Oh, sure, use Steve's phone. Wake Steve up. Let Steve take the message. Well, the Steve stops here, and my phone is off limits. Give Mom a hug for me.
Oh, God, what have I done?
Get out the sitz bath, kids. Grandma's coming.
Look, Peg, go down to the phone booth, catch the woman before she gets to the bottom of the driveway, because once she's in motion, you can't stop her.
Okay, Al, but only on one condition, that you pay that phone bill.
Done. You win. But hurt. Was that a tremor? Oh, God. She must be changing bras. Hurry.
We all think, like we mentioned earlier, that Steve is pulling a,
Oh, yeah, that Steve is pulling a fast one here.
Right.
To get this annoyance off him. And then we also think maybe Peggy paid him, or Kelly paid him. Do you know Kelly's not smart enough to do that?
No, because she's just a lumber camp toy.
Yeah.
No, the mom's really here. She's sleeping in Al's side of the bed. She looks like she weighs just about 200 pounds. She weighs nearly 200 pounds, actually. And Al is resorted to sleeping on the classic Bundy couch. And where he won one war, though, guys. He got them to move that street light. Problem is, where it moved, it is now shining exactly where his head is on the couch that he has to sleep in. And Peg said, it turns out Mom is staying for one more week. So I guess we have to assume that Al has slept downstairs on the couch for 2 straight weeks with the light in his face. Now, of course, I know what Justin's going to say. What should Al do, Justin, to solve this simple problem?
Go turn on the other end of the couch.
Yes!
Like, he's got some vicious jokes about her mom this episode.
Well, that's why I'm disappointed that she's only nearly 200 pounds. I think we can go further with this. And I think they do. I think she balloons up as the years go on.
Whoa.
No Ma'am will be right back to wrap up this week's review. Be sure to join their Facebook group page for all the podcast news and updates. Just type in www.facebook.com/groups/marriedwithchildrenpodcast. Be sure to subscribe to them on iTunes and please leave a review telling them what you think of the show. To subscribe to their YouTube channel, just go to channels and search up Married with Children Podcast. You can email them at marriedwchildrenpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for checking out this review. Now the guys are going to give their final thoughts and ratings of this week's episode.
All right, thank you, Jamie Sammons. All right, guys, it's rating time. How many dimes for the payphone out of 5 are we dropping on For Whom the Bell Tolls, Justin? How many out of 5 dimes are you going to give this episode?
This episode, I think it's a solid episode. Like you said, it's not super memorable in terms of big events or anything like that. But I think that this is one that had I been flipping through the channels and it's like, oh, I remember this one. I'll check this one out. I give it a 3 out of 5 dimes that I'm dropping on this episode.
Yeah, just a solid show, right? Nothing spectacular.
Correct.
Jerry, I know it's not a Steve-heavy episode, but you do have many facets to your personality, so I'm sure you appreciate many things. So how many dimes are you dropping out of 5 on this episode of Married with Children?
I give it a 3 out of 5. It's a pretty basic formula, and this episode kind of represents the standard formula for the standard episodes of Married with Children. So if it's not going to be a standout show, it'll probably follow this formula. And I'm okay with that because it's still really good. It works. I laughed a lot. Just there was nothing that stood out to me. And it's hard for me to go into a 4 when there's barely any Steve, even though Steve had some good lines. But this is the episode I will probably go back to and go, this is the episode where I have to admit that Alex is right and the show is going to get really goofy because Kelly was freaking out.
That's funny. I don't really find this one overly that goofy, though. If I'm being honest, I there was a few like here and there moments. But...
It's 3 things. It's Kelly freaking out. It's Al's face.
She did that before, though. She did that when she was unpopular for a second.
Yeah, but in this one, she's like, the more popular one seemed more realistic to me. This one, she's like hitting herself in the forehead with the phone. She's doing the rock back and forth thing.
Yeah, remember she was carrying the phone in pieces with her?
Yeah, who put these bugs on me? She tries to move. She's like, I'm leaving until we get a phone or I get married.
Well, Justin, I think what you're overlooking is the logistics of almost all the setups here are absolutely ludicrous. Like, do you really think Steve would take a 2 a.m. phone call from Peg's mom and yell to her and have a conversation? Hi, Mom! How are you? She wants the recipe for raisin. Like, do you think that would ever happen in season 1? Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. So, you're almost, and it's not your fault, I'm not saying it in a bad way, but you're almost glossing over, like, oh, come on. Like,
I'm just saying that this is the episode where I see it unraveling from being grounded. The chains are falling off.
I get that. The way that I look at ridiculous stuff is, even though highly unlikely, it's still in the realm of possibility that somebody would yell that. It's with the amount of people on Earth, it's in the realm of possibility that could happen. What couldn't happen is, other things that are just like out of...
Well, what was the other one? Like them standing at the top of the Sears Tower about to do a family suicide?
Yeah. Like that's not realistic to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying this, like, I'm just saying that I've noticed that there's shining a spotlight on certain characteristic traits that they've always had in season 1, but now they're amplifying it to a level of goofiness, is what I'm seeing in this episode. I'm not saying that it's gone full goofy yet, but after Alex opened my eyes to it, I have to say, well, damn it, I noticed it.
Yeah, well, even 555 Stud calling Peg at Steve's house to tell her Juan is back. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I felt like stuff like that kind of always existed, but I could be wrong. Just stuff that doesn't, like, that's just written for the fact that it's a sitcom. Like, you're not really supposed to think that it's possible.
Yeah, I guess. And it's weird. We are going to have that weird fun. We do have to walk a serious fine line as the show goes on because, I don't know, are you guys having fun kind of like picking that kind of stuff apart? Because I don't think we're doing it in a hurtful or like malicious way.
I didn't really have a problem with any of this. Like, so I mean, I'm cool. I think it's of note. It's something to talk about. That's what we do here is talk about things.
And you can't review something and not go into things that don't make sense or something you may personally didn't like.
Yeah, because then you're just a bad critic.
Yeah, then it's just boring. It's just me going, Al was wonderful. Everything Al did was great. I'm so glad this episode.
Yeah, like how you do with Alex.
Bye.
Yeah, you better review every piece of my work that way. But yeah, we could nitpick Married with Children though. It's okay. No, I have no works that anybody thinks about. So yeah, okay. My take on this episode is that I will be honest. When I sat down here in this amazing jiggly room that I'm so glad to be back in, there's nothing like the nudie bar, guys. It's hump day, Wednesday. We hope we got you over the hump. There's nothing like being in here. And I gotta say, when I sat down, I thought this episode was going to be 25 minutes long. and that's insanely short. We all know this show of ours normally runs an hour, and I thought this would go 25 minutes, which would be insanely short for us, because I thought there was really nothing on the surface. I don't know, and that doesn't mean I think it's a bad episode. I just thought...
I didn't have any topics to really dig into.
Yeah.
What we all realized as we went on and went through this is that we almost had more topic points and more points of discussion than almost ever. Like, I've never talked about more things on this show in one episode than I have tonight with you guys. So it really just makes you think, like, wow, it just brought up so much and great stuff, actually. I liked everything we talked about. So it was really just this whole episode really actually made me like the episode itself a lot more. So I was, oddly, even though I just said that, I was going to give it a 3, and I'm just going to still give it a 3. Because,
but it's a high 3.
It's a high 3, yeah. We're almost at 3.5 here.
You know how sometimes you rate something, you give it a 4, you give one movie a 4, and you give another movie a 4. Well, one of those 4s has to be a little bit better than the other 4, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, this is a solid episode. But like we all said, there's nothing amazing about it. And I'm not always looking for episodes that move the plot along of this whole thing here or nothing like that. I'm not looking for that every time I'm on, I don't care. But at the same time, it's just a low-key episode. It's very low-key, very standard, as Jerry said. It's just like textbook. It's like the formulaic episode of something where we didn't have a brilliant idea, but we got an episode out for you this week. And I think that's what this is. I think that's it encapsulates that exact idea. So be sure to join us at the Nudie Bar next Wednesday for Born to Walk. Al flunks his written driver's test the same day that Kelly passes hers, leaving him confined to the house and unable to get to the racetrack to bet on an important horse race. Well, we've been at the Nudie Bar all night. Great time. There's really nothing else to do. I mean...
Well, do you guys want to come over and watch this new game show with me? It's called That Idiot Al.
Sure, I love that show.
Razor.